I'm well aware of the power of positive imagery. As a muralist, whenever this subject comes up about the importance of murals, you know, some folks say, oh, it's just paint on the wall. I like to remind folks of the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel and the imagery associated with the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel and how that imagery traveled the world. To the point now is when we think about certain deities, when we think about certain iconography, we automatically think of that imagery. So I remind folks of the power of murals and how once a seed is planted in the mind, especially of children, and a lot of children come to the ballpark, that immediately that imagery becomes a part of their universe and becomes a part of their reality. So myself and Chris, in addition to Gaia, painted an homage to the Negro Leagues regionally, primarily in Baltimore, but also regionally.
I mostly worked on the scene where the players are sliding into the base. I worked a little bit on the batter to the right of that scene as well.
We chose to create imagery that actually paid respects and honored all of the players of the Negro Leagues, specifically those that played in this area.
So Ernest actually invited me to paint alongside him with that piece, and when I found out it was about the Negro Leagues, I just thought that was incredible because the Negro Leagues, as many things in this country, are like a huge testament to our perseverance as African Americans, and I definitely wanted to play a role in creating an image like that.
Putting things in historical and cultural context. It wasn't too long ago that Major League Baseball decided to include the statistics from the Negro Leagues in its overall stats. I kind of had an idea that, probably inspired by that action, there would be some type of movement toward being inclusive of the traditional Negro Leagues with what is traditionally called the Major Leagues, beyond just the statistics, some type of cultural and visual representation. I remember the old Memorial Stadium. I remember how it felt being in Memorial Stadium. I remember how it felt when Camden Yards was built and the energy that was generated by the ballpark. I understand the role that sports teams can play relative to the collective ethos of a city. So I mean, it really means a lot to have some imagery that was created by myself, Christopher Batten. It means a lot to have that imagery, hopefully as a permanent fixture here at Camden Yards, so that it can also contribute in ways that the Orioles have contributed historically to the collective ethos of Baltimore City.
For me, I want them, I mean, because I think a lot of people don't even know that the Negro Leagues existed. So I think that chance for them to get some level of historical context from that mural, I think is the most exciting thing I want people to get from it. One of the things that I try to do whenever I'm in a new place is I always try to make as much of a positive impact on that place as I can. So like Ernest, I'm an educator here as well. You know, this mural just gives me a chance to make a positive impact in this city, which is, you know, a goal of mine since I moved here 6 years ago. So
I think that, again, I believe in the power of positive imagery. Painting this mural, I would hope that it may inspire younger folk to also consider playing baseball and or going into or pursuing a profession that may be related to professional baseball. So it doesn't necessarily have to simply be a baseball player, but it could be a coach, a trainer, a manager, an agent, a front office worker, an owner. So, you know, again, imagery, the power of positive imagery, planting seeds. Hopefully this mural could maybe be a conduit to some type of inspiration for not just Black children, but all children.